There is a moment, somewhere between the last gasp of the Manila Bay sunset and the first blaze of the city's nighttime skyline, when you realize that no photograph, no map, and no headline has ever done this place justice. From 500 feet in the air, the Philippine capital stretches in every direction without apology, a living collision of 5 centuries pressed into a single restless metropolitan frame. The towers of Bonifacio Global City catch the last orange light the way a forest canopy catches rain, each glass surface bending it into something new. Roxas Boulevard curves along the water like a spine, holding together the waterfront parks, the sea, and the noise of the city behind it. Nobody told Manila it was supposed to be quiet, and nobody ever will. Manila is the capital of an archipelago nation made up of more than 7,000 islands, and yet everything about it suggests a place that refuses to be contained by geography. It sits on the western coast of Luzon, the Philippines' largest island, positioned along the eastern edge of Manila Bay, one of the most strategically important natural harbors in all of Asia. The city was formally established by Spanish conquistador Miguel López de Legazpi in 1571, making it one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in Southeast Asia. Before the Spanish arrived, it was already a thriving Muslim settlement called Maynilad, named after the nilad plant that bloomed along the Pasig River. That river still divides the old city from its northern districts today, flowing through centuries of memory into a bay that is itself undergoing one of the most remarkable environmental transformations in the region. The aerial perspective changes everything about how you understand this city. From ground level, Manila can feel overwhelming, its 18 cities and 1 municipality forming a metropolitan region of nearly 15 million people packed into just over 600 square kilometers. But from above, patterns emerge. The grid of Intramuros sits like a gray stone stamp against the green of Rizal Park. The rooftops of Binondo bleed into the Pasig's northern bank in a dense mosaic of terracotta and concrete. The overpasses of EDSA cut diagonally across the frame like brushstrokes on a canvas that never dries. From the air, the chaos has rhythm. From the air, Manila makes a different kind of sense. Intramuros is where the story begins, as it has always been, and the walled city remains the most concentrated square kilometer of Philippine history anywhere in the world. The walls themselves were built by the Spanish in the 16th century from volcanic stone, rising 8 feet thick and 22 feet high, designed to keep out invaders and to project the power of colonial authority across the bay. Inside those walls are the oldest church in the Philippines, the ruins of a fort where national hero José Rizal spent his final days, and cobblestone streets that have absorbed the footsteps of every era of Filipino history. San Agustin Church, completed in 1607, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and the only structure inside Intramuros that survived the devastation of the 1945 Battle of Manila, a fact that makes its continued presence feel less like architecture and more like testimony. Walking those streets today, between the horse-drawn calisas and the bamboo bike tours, the weight of what happened here never fully lifts. Just across the Pasig River, Binondo announces itself in a completely different register. Established in 1594 by the Spanish to house the city's growing Chinese population, it is recognized as the oldest Chinatown in the world, and its streets carry that distinction in every detail. The Binondo Intramuros Bridge, completed in 2022, now connects the two districts with a steel arch span that offers some of the best unobstructed views of the river and the Old Quarter from any elevated position in the city. Along Ongpan Street, the shop fronts are stacked floor to ceiling with goods, and the air carries the smell of soy and star anise from restaurants that have been feeding Manila for generations. The minor basilica of St. Lorenzo Ruiz stands at the heart of it, its Baroque facade and octagonal bell tower a quiet monument to a saint who was born here, in this neighborhood, before he became the first Filipino martyr of the Catholic Church. The National Museum complex along Padre Burgos Avenue represents one of the most important collections of Filipino art and heritage anywhere in the country, and its buildings carry their own historical weight. The main hall, formerly the old legislative building, houses Juan Luna's Spoliarium, a painting so massive it occupies an entire gallery wall and so significant it won first prize at the 1884 Exposition of Fine Arts in Madrid. Luna painted it as a young Filipino artist studying in Europe, and it was read by his contemporaries as a metaphor for the colonial condition, the fallen gladiators dragged from the arena floor standing in for an entire people. That the painting now hangs inside a building that once housed the colonial government's own legislature is a detail that the history of Manila tends to produce naturally, without irony and without effort. Rizal Park is the civic heart of the nation in a way that few public spaces in any country can claim. Covering 143 acres along the shore of Manila Bay, it is one of the largest urban parks in Asia, and its lawns, fountains, themed gardens, and monuments have served as the gathering ground for every significant moment in modern Philippine public life. The Rizal Monument at the park center marks both the execution site and the final resting place of José Rizal, the writer, physician, and reformist who was shot by the Spanish colonial government on December 30, 1896, at the age of 35. That monument draws a steady line of visitors every day of the year, and on national holidays the park fills with a scale of gathering that makes the city's 15 million feel suddenly, tangibly present. The park ends at the Baywalk, where Roxas Boulevard meets the water, and where the famous Manila Bay sunset performs each evening for whoever cares to stop and watch. That sunset has become something of a national symbol, and its recent return to its former quality represents one of the more remarkable environmental stories to come out of the Philippines in years. Manila Bay spent decades absorbing the consequences of rapid, unplanned urban growth, and by the early 2010s its waters were carrying pollution levels that had driven away marine life and made the shoreline unsafe. A landmark Supreme Court ruling, known as the Mandamus Order, directed 13 government agencies to rehabilitate the bay, and the effort that followed became one of the largest environmental programs ever undertaken in Southeast Asia. By 2025, marine life had returned to the bay's coastal zones, the Baywalk Dolomite Beach had received more than 4 million visitors, and government agencies were operating a structured monitoring program across 187 local government units stretching across 3 regions. The bay still has a long road ahead, but the sunset burning over it each evening looks, for the first time in a long time, like a promise rather than an apology. The Makati Central Business District is where the Philippines conducts much of its financial life, and from above it has the density and vertical ambition of a city that has been building towards something for decades. The skyline presses upward along Ayala Avenue with towers that house the country's largest banks, multinational corporations, and law firms, the street level filled with the malls, parks, and plazas that give Makati the slightly curated quality of a business district that knows it is being watched. Greenbelt sits at the center of it, an open-air shopping and dining complex built around a garden that somehow holds its own against the concrete pressing in from every side. The Ayala Museum a short walk away holds gold artifacts from pre-colonial Philippine civilizations, ceremonial objects, and jewelry from the 10th through the 13th centuries, evidence of a sophisticated society trading with China and the Arab world long before any European ship reached these waters.
Behold these ancient golden treasures, symbols of a lost era's grandeur. Their intricate designs speak of masterful artisans and forgotten rituals, a timeless legacy preserved for the ages.